Ready to roll here on a Saturday morning. Thanks to our friends at Insperity. Visit Insperity.com for powerful HR solution with exceptional fall through. Nice to have you aboard as we take you through what's going on in the world of golf here in week 31, where the PGA Tour is in the middle of the last regular season event at the Wyndham Championship. The first of three playoff events begins next week at the FedEx St. Jude, which will consist of the top 69 on the money list, and we'll get to why it won't be 70. It will shrink to 50 the following week at Caves Valley, just outside of Baltimore for the BMW, and then down to 30 for the Tour Championship at Eastlake. Nice to have you aboard. We will have Randy Smith on the show at 8:30 Central. Randy is the coach of world number one Scotty Scheffler, so we'll ask him about the evolution of Scotty's swing, the mental approach during this dominant run, what they're focused on heading into the playoffs in the Ryder Cup. It'll be great to hear his insight. We'll also do Brian Gathright at 8:15. He's the coach of Mac Meisner, who's tied second at the Wyndham Championship, and he also coaches Johnny Kiefer, who just got his PGA Tour card for 2026. It'll be great to hear from both of them, especially between Randy and Brian. Those are two great coaches to another in the great Charlie Epps. Charlie, how we doing this morning? Charlie, we'll get back to Charlie here in just 1 second. Looking down the leaderboard here at the Wyndham Championship, Cam Young is in first at 15 under. Unbelievable start, 63-62. Cam Young obviously still searching for his first PGA Tour win. He started the week at 40th on the FedEx Cup standings. He's projected 16th. Charlie, nice to have you aboard. I was just talking through the intro about how we'll have a couple coaches on today. Number one being Brian Gathright, coach of Mac Meisner and Johnny Kiefer. Two Insperity guys having a lot of success on the pro level. And then, of course, your dear friend Randy Smith, coach of Scotty Scheffler, is going to join us today at 30. Looking forward to those two conversations and breaking down the world of golf with you today.
Yeah, they're two great guys, very, very dedicated to their craft, teaching people how to get better. And Brian is a wonderful kid. He lives out in the River Hill area, and I hope the flood didn't treat him poorly. And of course, Randy is a legend in Texas. And now I think in the world for what he's done with Scotty Scheffler to get him to where he is, and I know Scotty will give Randy a lot of credit for his success.
When did you first meet Randy Smith, Charlie?
I met Randy Smith in the 70s. He was working for a friend of mine, Buddy Cook, at golf course in Dallas, and we'd go up there and play in a pro member and have a lot of fun. And Randy was always around, always in a good mood, and couldn't have been a nicer guy. Um, all these years, he's just been very successful. He's had a lot of success with a lot of great players. You know, the kid from Texas that won the British Open. Um, I forget his name right now. That's old age.
Justin Leonard, Charlie, 1997 Open Championship.
Yeah, Justin Leonard's victory at the Open Championship was marvelous, and Randy is just a cool guy. He's a West Texas bred and born, and so he's fun to be around, and he's fun to talk golf with.
Yeah, but he has world number one Scotty Scheffler, as you said, Charlie. Justin Leonard. Harrison Frazier is another one, PGA Tour and Corn Ferry Tour winner. He's playing on the senior tour now. Randy works with Ryan Palmer and Martin Flores. We'll talk with him about it today, Charlie, but obviously a lot's been made with when we watch him and Scheffler work. There's a lot of simplicity there and a lot of focus on the fundamentals, not a lot of technology going on. I'll be interested to hear his take on that. I know, when I go out with a lesson with you, Charlie, we're really not, unless we're, indoors, on a rainy day and hitting the full swing, there's not a lot of TrackMan or video camera going on.
Well, sometimes we overdo all of that, and video camera. I believed in that early on, and but then we make it more important than it really is, and a lot of people have no idea. It's kind of like going to the doctor and tell the doctor that you want to look at the X-ray.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're looking at, and it's a lot of times people don't see what they need to see after hours of video work. So
Right.
take it with a grain of salt.
We'll get to Gathright and Randy Smith. Charlie, you're hard at work on your publication, your book, alongside the great Mark Button, and it's been great to hear the latest on that and kind of get started on that early, reading the quotes from Jim Nance and Blaine McAllister. How is that process going, Charlie?
It's going really quite well. It's really been a labor of love. My good friend Jay Minks encouraged me to write a story about my different episodes in life. From Michigan to Argentina, to Spain, to in the army, and it's worked out pretty good. Hopefully, we'll get it published, and a few people will buy it.
Charlie, if you had to say the hardest part of your life to recall, what the stage, whether it was the army, whether it was your pro career, teaching, Houston Country Club, your time with Angel Cabrera inside the ropes, what was the hardest thing to look back on?
Well, it's really the years we spent in Argentina with my family. It was hard to recall some of the happenings. That with the revolutions going on and the government strife of they're always changing government and the way they do things, but. Other than that, recollection has been pretty darn good. I mean, you just think back into, like my wedding in Rock of Gibraltar. How can you forget that? You know, we're over there looking, seeing the Mediterranean and Atlantic Ocean, and we're getting married, and 56 years later, we're still here. So,
That that is just incredible, Charlie. I mean, that story, you and Judy and a meeting in Spain and then going to the Rock of Gibraltar. I have not heard a wedding story like that, Charlie. I mean, you did it the correct way.
well, we did it because we didn't want to wait for anybody. We were in a foreign country, and we had to fly to Gibraltar, which was an English colony, and anyways, it was so much fun.
Well, Charlie, talking about one Charlie to another, I want to bring up an interesting junior golf story from this week. Charlie Woods has really come around as far as his golf game is concerned over the last year. Now, starting with the winners of the Junior PGA Championship, the men's winner was a gentleman named Ludin Esterlin, and then the women's winner was Astrid Talley, who has finished runner-up at the U.S. Women's Am, finished runner-up at the U.S. Junior Women's, and competed for Team USA at the Spirit. But Charlie, we saw Charlie Woods win the AJGA TaylorMade Invitational a couple months ago, and then was really in contention for most of the Junior PGA. Shot a couple really low rounds in the first and second round. I think made 9 birdies in that second round. Ended up shooting 3 over in the final round to finish 10 shots back. But a very promising year for 16-year-old Charlie Woods. Obviously, don't need to get too deep into a 16-year-old, but it's very promising to see. It's very exciting.
Oh yes, yeah, he is quite an athlete, and he's followed in his father's footsteps, and they get along so marvelously. And he's a good athlete, and he's developed a golf swing as good as his father. And it's going to be interesting to see where the young man goes. Um, Now with the limited golf, the PGA Tour has, because of the new system, they're instead of 125 players getting cards, 100, and there's so many great college kids now. I'm not, going to have to figure this out and get places for them to play and show their talents.
And Charlie, you have a grandson in Charlie Wiley playing his college golf at TCU, going into his sophomore season, and you've helped him develop up the ranks from when he was a young junior. What's the advice you're giving to parents this summer? Just as far as the right way to bring up a young junior in sports.
That's a good. There's a couple good books on that, and Bob Rotella, the famous sports psychologist that I work with at Golf Digest, and I worked with 25 great teachers from all over the United States, and basically, everything's pretty much the same. There's one good word: fundamentals. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't make it more important than it really is. That's the Jack Nicklaus quote. You just got to, see where your child wants to go and help her, or or like my two daughters, they both ended up playing collegiate golf.
Yeah.
And not because their dad was a golf pro, but they enjoyed the sport. So get to learn how to enjoy golf and understand it, and it'll really be a good sport for you all your life.
Great work there, Charlie. We're coming up on a little bit of a break here. We're going to have Brian Gathright on the other side. And as far as the Wyndham Championship leaderboard, Cameron Young is atop by 3 shots at 15 under. He started the week 40th on the FedEx Cup standings, projected at 16th. Tied for second is Mac Meisner and Sung JM. Mac Meisner works with Brian Gathright. We'll get some insight on Meisner here on the other side. And Meisner is also, he is sponsored by the great people at Insperity. And so is Johnny Kiefer, the Baylor alum who we've had on the show. And he just earned his PGA Tour card for 2026 last week. But it's just amazing how Insperity always surrounds themselves with the right people and the right businesses, especially as far as the world of sports. And Charlie, we have some business owners that want to get aboard. They feel like the walls are closing in and the obstacles to growing their business are quite overwhelming. And I know you have a solution for them.
Well, the solution is, you always need a help in your bag, another set of eyes. And Insperity is a company that was founded back in 1986 by some gentlemen that had a vision, and they understood business and they understood small business, and they knew they could go in and help them achieve their goals with some basic help with HR, making sure that the employees get treated correctly, and all the government regulations that are out there today. You need to know what you're doing, and so if you're getting your business going and you think you want to really grow a little quicker, give Insperity a call. Insperity.com. They're a bunch of great people, people that love to work. So Will knows them. You've been over there, Will. So Insperity is a first class company, and they can help a lot of people.
Their facilities in Kingwood are just incredible. They've put 30 plus years of experience to work, helping business owners with their human resources, from hiring and training to HR, admin, and compliance. With Insperity lightening your HR load, you can just focus on growing your business, surrounded by employees who are empowered to be their best. Visit Insperity.com for the best HR performance in the world. Now over to our friends at the Texas Golf Hall of Fame.
Mike Booker, chairman of the Texas Golf Hall of Fame and holder of a record number of Texas Golf Association championships.
The Texas Golf Hall of Fame is the foundation of golf in our great state. So many great individuals: Ben Hogan, Byron Nelson, Kathy Whitworth, Ben Crenshaw, Babe Zaharias, Tom Kite, and many more lead the way in making golf in Texas known around the world. Learn about the historic golf courses and the individuals that promoted the game through leadership, teaching, and passion. Texas and golf go hand in hand in the history of the game and camaraderie. Together we can honor the past, celebrate the present, and inspire future generations of Texas golfers. Golf is a sport for everyone, and I encourage you to experience the history of Texas golf digitally at texasgolfhof.org and share with your golf family and friends. That's texasgolfhof.org. See you on the course.
You're listening to the Charlie Epps Golf Hour on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Powered by Insperity.
From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Will Doctor and the golf doctor himself, Charlie Epps.
Our next guest is one of the most respected instructors in Texas and across the country. It's the great Brian Gathright. He's been named a Golf Magazine Top 100 teacher. He's a multi-time Southern Texas PGA Teacher of the Year, and he's the longtime coach of rising pros like Johnny Kiefer and Mac Meisner. From San Antonio to the PGA Tour, Brian's built a reputation of developing players the right way, and we're thrilled to have him on with us this morning. Good morning, Brian. You're on ESPN Houston with the great Charlie Epps.
Well, guys, I'm not sure I warrant the great introduction, but thank you very much for that. And what a pleasure it is to get to talk about some great young guys. And I've got to add one more in there that y'all may not be aware of, but Mitchell Meisner, Mac's older brother who plays on the Korn Ferry Tour, and he's doing some real special things too. The three of those guys combined last week for minus 62 under, or 62 under par. So it was kind of a crazy week, and they're playing some great golf. And boy, you just can't say enough things about Johnny. He's doing some really good things. And I want to give our listeners a little bit of a preview. CBS is actually doing a feature at 1:30 tomorrow before the Wyndham coverage on Johnny, and to see a young man that a year ago just finished Baylor, as a college golfer, and was a three-time Big 12 conference scholar athlete of the year, and an accounting major, just a super student and a super guy. And boy's done some special things in the last year to rise to 56 in the world rankings, played in two majors, made a cut in the U.S. Open, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, Brian, I've followed you ever since I've been in Texas, and I congratulate you on all of your work and the guys that you've, helped achieve fame and fortune. And where did you get your desire to do what you're doing?
Charlie, and I mean this sincerely, I've always admired and respected you as an instructor, and guys like Randy Smith and everything. I actually told Randy a few weeks ago at the Open, you guys raised the bar in instruction in Texas, and I'm not placating you. I'm being very honest. And I'm not that much younger than you guys, but I just found a passion. I think a little bit of it goes back to my beginning. I grew up on a 9-hole golf course in Central Texas. I managed to play at a decent level. I played the Asian Tour, and then I got to qualify for some of the Tournament Player Series Tour, which evolved into today's Korn Ferry Tour back in the early 80s, and moderate success. I figured out real quickly that I was a good golfer from a small town. I wasn't a great golfer in a big town. But part of that, in growing up in an environment, I had a lot of people help me and kind of guide me along the way, but I always played golf with adults, and I always looked up to the guys ahead of me, guys like yourself, guys like Randy Smith, that were just enough older. Y'all were always real accepting, and sharing information, doing things like that. And it's just one of those things that it kind of evolved from there, in that I had such a good run with younger guys. I like Nota Begay, Jimmy Walker. I started out with Jimmy when he was very young, and one of those things that you just start to see these guys develop. And Charlie, I think a little bit like you, I never wanted to be a quote unquote tour teacher. I've always kind of prided myself in developing players, developing guys, getting them to the tour. I'm really proud to say that Johnny will be my 7th player I've coached that I started with no status anywhere and got their PGA Tour card. And Mitchell Meisner right now, which I'm going to go ahead and mention, he's done some pretty special things. Last week, I love Mitchell to death. He's just a kid. He went to Rice, made 1B at Rice University. He has no quit in him whatsoever. And last week, up in Chicago, he was 3 shots off the cut line with a 210-yard par 3 and a par 5, a 570-yard par 5 to play. And he finishes birdie eagle and then shoots 65, 64 on the weekend to finish 9th. And then turned around yesterday and he's got a birdie the 18th hole to make the cut, and he makes a 20-foot downhiller on 18 to make the cut. And the kid's just got so much heart, and he's 11th on the points list right now. So there's a possibility he'll be the 8th person I've had do that. And I've always prided myself in that. I really, it's not that I've done anything. I just feel like that, I invest in these kids just like you have with your players, and they become part of the family. It's more of a family. It's not just somebody coming to get a golf lesson. I'll be honest. I'm one of those guys. If you just want a golf lesson, I'm probably not the guy to see. I want to try to develop you. I want you to try to get better, and we're going to, get down in the trenches and dig it out of the dirt and work through it. So I really credit you guys that paved the way. You, Chuck Cook, Randy Smith, the guys that I've always looked up to. more than you guys would ever know. And I told Randy that at the Open at Oakmont this year. I walked up and I said, hey, I want to thank you because you guys don't know how much y'all raising the bar has really impacted me. And of course, having the legend of Harvey Penick as my mentor, I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't spent 3 years with, in my opinion, still the greatest there's probably ever been.
Well, yeah, that is for sure. Harvey was just a jewel of a person and a psychologist that really understood things about life. And then we had Jackie Burke, who also led the way with not only playing but building a golf course, and Jimmy DeMerit. And it's fun getting to Texas. I haven't been. I wasn't born in Texas, but I got here as soon as I could. You know,
I love that.
and I met so many great players, and my my favorite was Blaine McAllister. He was a freshman at University of Houston, and I got to know that program with Coach Dave Williams, and it's been a joy to like you say, help people, do things that's going to help them get to where they are, and what Meisner's done is really incredible, and I did not know that he was that good of a player, but he's just worked his butt off, huh?
He really has, Charlie, and that's one of the things I would say that, Mac was just born to play the game. He's 6'3", and he's just got incredible hands, and he's playing some I don't want to overlook how well he's playing right now. He's going through a really tough stretch this year. He's not played poorly. He just hadn't shot low scores. It's just been weird. It's been one of those days where, he'll get to 3 under early and then he'd make a bogey. And, he's turning 65s and 6s into 70s, 71s. And those, don't make much money on the PGA Tour, but he's really the last couple of weeks. I went up to Louisville. We had a long dinner conversation. I just talked to him and tried to remind him how good he really is. He was second last year, and from all distances from the fairway, he was number 2 on the PGA Tour in proximity to the pin. And I said, let's get back to we're not gonna probably putt it as good as some of the other guys out here, but you hit it better than just about anybody and everybody out here. We get the ball in the fairway. We're going to hit a lot of greens. We're going to start to make some putts. And we did go with a caddy change 2 weeks ago, and he finished 14th last week. And Jaime is doing a great job with him. They're really starting to gel and sync up, and I think some great things are happening there. And he's playing with a lot of confidence, and I look for him to play well this weekend. But talking about Mitchell was, Mitchell's about 5'8", and he's stocky and not quite as gifted from a physical point of view. But let me tell you, the mentality that he has and the grit and the determination, he's gone through 2 wrist surgeries the last 2 years. And,
wow.
He's just one of those kids that just won't quit. I laugh. My wife just loves him because he's the underdog, and he's the guy that he's just going to outwork everybody. And then you talk about Johnny. Johnny is just, he's one of those, I think that truthfully, Charlie has a chance to be a generational player. He's done some incredibly special things. He's shot some spectacularly low numbers. He shot 61 3 times this year on the Korn Ferry Tour. And one of the things that gets overlooked down in South America this year, he stepped up on the first tee on Thursday and hit 2 4-irons out of bounds.
Oh,
Made an 8 on the first hole, shot 75 the first day, and then shot 61 the next 2 rounds. Ended up almost winning the golf tournament. He ended up finishing, I think, 4th after making an 8 on his first hole. And that's, how hard that is to do, and how easy it is for guys to pack it in when they get off to a start like that. And the kid just has no quit in him, and I'm very blessed as an instructor to have not only the talent all 3 of those guys have, but let me tell you, they're phenomenal young men.
Yes.
And it's such a privilege to get to spend time with them and work with them. And they're tough on each other, and they battle hard, and it keeps me young. I'll tell you that.
Well, I know I know you're not a quitter and you're a grinder, and you know what it takes, and to help these young men do what you do. I think it's really a lot of fun, and I'm proud of you. And we're going to get you back on the show and get some more information, get some more secrets of what you do to make these guys good. And I appreciate you taking the time to coming on the show with us. And we're going to follow all of
Yeah,
these.
Brian.
You know,
Brian, we're gonna follow up with you soon. I know between me and Charlie, we've got we could go 2 hours with you, Brian, talking back and forth about the game. We got to go to break, unfortunately. We appreciate your time, Brian. Thank you for the 15 minutes this morning.
Thanks, Brian.
And look forward to any time. I appreciate it.
Okay, we'll be in touch. Congratulations.
Randy Smith is on the other side. Quick spot from our friends at the Texas Golf Hall of Fame.
Mike Booker, chairman of the Texas Golf Hall of Fame and holder of a record number of Texas Golf Association championships.
The Texas Golf Hall of Fame is the foundation of golf in our great state. So many great individuals, Ben Hogan, Byron Nelson, Kathy Whitworth, Ben Crenshaw, and many others, lead the way in making golf in Texas known around the world. Now you can experience the history of Texas golf digitally at texasgolfhof.org and share with your family and friends. See you on the course.
The Charlie Epps Golf Hour, powered by Insperity, continues
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Will Doctor and Charlie Epps.
It is a real honor to welcome on Randy Smith, head golf professional at Royal Oaks, member of the Texas Golf Hall of Fame, and the longtime coach of world number one, Scotty Scheffler. Randy, thanks for being with Charlie and I this morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, bud. How y'all doing?
I'm doing awesome. I mean, I get to talk to the gentleman that coached the. I mean, how did you enjoy the British Open this year?
Well, I got a real kick out of it, Charlie. To be honest with you.
Well, that was really quite an exhibition of control and being patient and just waiting. You know, the first three rounds were nothing really, great. But you knew he was there, and what a tournament! Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'm real proud of him. He did a marvelous job. He really did. You could kind of see it, even when it was kind of, starting out, everybody trying to get the feel for that golf course. And you could tell he was very comfortable in his element over there.
Well, the thing that really is, he's 6'3".
Yeah.
I think for a tall man, he really has a great golf swing, and is that what is that a result of?
Oh, it's probably a result of me getting away from merchandising in the golf shop and going and being able to spend a little bit of time at seminars and things with Charlie Epps and Dick Harmon back when I was such a young pup.
You still are.
Well, yeah, I'm still there. I'm still young. No, but and seriously, he's just a special cat, Charlie. He's working. He's an athlete. He's a complete athlete. He's a jock. He doesn't, actively play other sports now, except for pickleball, maybe occasional basketball or something like that. But, when you're working with somebody or you're around somebody that loves to play sports, all kinds of sports, the way their bodies move in a golf swing relates a lot to the other sports that Doug played.
Will?
Yeah, well, my question, Randy, through the years, Justin Leonard, Harrison Frazier, Scotty Scheffler, Martin Flores, has your teaching process adapted over the years, or has it stayed fundamentally the same?
No, it's adapted. You have to adapt. You're going to see different things. My goodness, you learn so much. I tell you what, I've learned so much from Scotty over the years. It's unbelievable because he's gone through a lot of different body changes. When he was tiny. I mean, tiny until junior high, late junior high. Then all of a sudden just shot up. And, when those things happen, that can bring a lot of problems to the way you swing the golf club. And then you take somebody back in the day like Justin, who's a very smallish person. He had to be able to do certain things to compete with the longer hitters. And so, a lot of focus on the short game, a lot of focus on getting the ball in the hole. But to be honest with you, Justin would hit a lot of mid irons when he was younger, say going, college age before he went on tour. A lot of mid irons, longer clubs, because those are the clubs he had to be as good as the big hitters were with the shorter clubs. And you adapt to that in your teaching techniques.
And Randy, through Scotty's growth changes and all the changes you go through as a young man, is there something in his swing or in his game that you have worked hard to protect, something pure that is still in his game today?
Scotty's ball striking especially is all built around, his feel for the club head and the club face. it's hard to teach that. A player has to have that. But that's something he has embraced ever since he was, small. He knows where his club face is. And, that's the thing. Everybody doesn't have their A game every single time. Say he's going out and he's feeling that face doing a certain thing as he's coming in the ball. Scotty has this ability, through the feeling his hands and everything to adjust the club to still create a shot that's respectable until he gets a little better feel for where the face is coming into impact.
Well, Randy, talking about your teaching day to day, and when you're teaching the amateur golfer or maybe even the weekend player, is there a standard piece of golf advice that you find yourself actively unteaching?
It's funny you ask that, because the more and more I look at people hitting the golf ball, and let's take it amateurs. Let's take the typical 12, 15 handicapper. 90% of the time, you're going to be dealing with, you interview him a little bit. So, what do you feel like you need to be doing to hit this golf ball properly? Well, I've got to have a bigger turn. Okay, good. I've got to be able to get to my left side when I go back into impact. I need to be able to do this with my body, this with my body. Everything's about where my body is. And very, very seldom do you ever get anybody to talk about the club head and the club face. And I've kind of, the more every day, in fact, I'm fixing to go to the range here in a little bit, and I know who I'm fixing to deal with. And it's going to be about getting the club head to move, getting the club head to develop the speed rather than the body trying to do all the work.
That is such great advice. I hope everybody who's listening takes that to heart. But the golf club is the instrument, like Jim Flick always used to teach. It's such an important part of the golf game, and you got to be able to feel that club back to the golf ball. But I just love that what you just said, Randy. That's really neat.
Hey, Randy, Scott, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask Charlie. I mean, Charlie, you still see a lot of golf swings, and you see a lot of people hitting balls. But don't you think we may have gotten a little bit kind of carried away with positions, turns, leg movement? I mean, all these things. And back, I listened to you and Dick and stuff like that, impact, we want to talk about impact. We want to talk about the feel of impact, things like that back in the day. And I think we've gotten away from it a little bit.
Oh, I do too. And like Claude Harmon taught us all, squared impact and how you get it, back to impact with the good downswing. And I think what your students have always done is make good contact with the golf ball and let everything else take care of themselves.
It's worked pretty well.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, Randy, we have a Ryder Cup coming up this fall. I'm just curious, with a team event in that time of the year, how it changes the season regimen between you and Scotty.
No change whatsoever. Scotty is, everything that Scotty does is based on what's happening the next event. What's the next event? It could be the Hero Challenge in December. There's still the next event. And he doesn't take any of those events lightly. The beauty of it is he doesn't overwork any of them. He's a hard worker, but his work is always targeted. It's always lighthearted. It's always upbeat. Granted, there might be something going on. You have to kind of, wait a minute, let's work on this for a little bit. But everything is targeted toward that event, not toward that month or that week coming up or that event coming up in 1 month. It's what's happening right in front of him.
One of the things that our good friend Dick Harmon used to say, and we all know how important junior golf is at our clubs, and how we grow the game by really promoting junior golf. And Dick always had a good saying: the only thing wrong with junior golf are the parents. Now, now you've had a great mom and dad that raised a kid, you know, to play golf, and uh, what how did you interact with them?
Oh, in Scotty's case,
Yeah.
there was a few things, early on that, he obviously knew that there was the little guy had a lot of talent. But then early on, Scott Scheffler realized, said, hey, let's let this thing develop. And that's been pretty much the way he's been up until this very day, and he's just enjoying watching him play.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And the fun part about that is that he won't take enough credit. He's always, Scotty, such as this, Scotty's that, Scotty's that. But I think in Scotty's dad's case, he should take a little more credit for raising a kid with, pretty good work ethic, and raising a kid that has pretty darn good common sense about how to succeed. And, Scott does the humble thing. Well, you can be humble as you want to, but you raised a kid. And his wife, Scotty's mother, Diane,
Yes.
they put together a pretty good package of 4 kids, and all 4 of them about the same way.
That's terrific. I mean, I love the way he talks about his wife. I love how he the youngster on the putting green at the British Open. I mean, he brings the whole family into his world, and I'm just marveled by it.
Well, I think one of the neat things that Scott pops off with all the time, he says, Scotty was basically one of 4. And nobody was ever more important than those 4 kids, no matter how Scotty was playing, because they're going to a lot of Scotty's golf tournaments, as a family. But the thing about it is, I think Scotty's golf rubbed off on the sisters. All 4 of them play. Callie played down at Texas A&M, Charlie.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
How about
And
that?
just a marvelous player. She ended up marrying an A&M golfer. And she's kind of the outlier in the group, because she's more business related. She just moved out to New York, down the Towers, got married. I think they're down in Austin now. But Molly works for the PGA Tour.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
So the golf kind of went throughout the family in one fashion or another. But Callie's a marvelous player.
How about that? That's good. I like to hear that. Both of my daughters played college golf, and it was such a joy just to go watch them compete and go through the rigors of mental play golf, which is a game in itself. So that's good. And now your son is his agent, right?
Yeah, he's been his manager, agent / agent, from time he turned pro, and it's been a great working relationship. So, it keeps Blake busy. Blake's got some other clients, but Scotty takes up a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, that's quite a challenge to get a gentleman like that. And now, how long do you think his career will be? Seems to me that he's going to get bored with the game and really spend a lot more time with his family. Or does he have that love? I mean, look how long Nicklaus played. I mean, Nicklaus is 84 and he's still playing.
Right. Well, Scotty's got a little different drive. It's family first with Scotty, and I think it's marvelous. I got a feeling that family may grow someday, and I don't tell how many kids they'll have. Don't know. But he's got one right now, and his wife is very, very important to him. And, there's no telling how long he'll play. That would probably be the one thing that would make him slow it down is when he starts, spending a lot more time with the family. But I will say this. He's got a competitive edge in him that I have not seen in any other player to that level.
Really?
And it really doesn't matter if it's pickleball, ping pong, trivia. It doesn't matter what it is. He wants to he wants to win any kind of competition. And when he goes and tees it up, that's what he's there for. He likes the winning part. He likes to beat who he's playing. He's kind of like the old story. He's the guy that will go out there and hit you in the face 15 times until you give up. And he'll be the first guy to come over and lift you up. How you doing? Okay, good to see you. We'll have fun. Boom, boom, boom. Pat you on the butt and then call you the next day.
Yeah. He's just a good old boy.
Well, I think that's what's going to keep him playing a long time, Charlie.
Yeah. Well, I just marvel at what you've done and what you've accomplished, and you keep it. And I know you've had some health problems, and you're the bionic man. All your operations. Have they settled you down?
Well, some of it's forced me to settle down. But now the back issue and everything, the back's wonderful. I'm just trying to get the legs and feet to get going a little bit. But everything's pretty good. And I've been very fortunate. I put a lot of miles on this body, but I've had a pretty good repair shop. So we got in good shape. We're doing pretty good. How you doing, Charlie?
80 is a big word. I mean, a big number, and my wife just says it's just a number. But gosh darn, I feel old.
Well, hey, Charlie, don't admit to it. That's the thing. Do not admit to it.
Well, my swing speed is not even 80. So
you got to release the club sooner, Charlie.
Oh Lord. There's so many different ways to enjoy the game, and in watching it on television, and then watching my grandkids play, and I mean that's the big part of it. And you've taught so many juniors all your life. Working with the kids is really a lot of fun.
Well, I think that's the number one deal, especially now that both of us are over 50, Charlie. It's you want to look forward to that little session you may have that day.
That's right.
And normally if it's a youngster of some sort, you're probably looking forward to it more than you would something else. And with those kids, that's the thing. Like a good example, last night I'm trying to get out of the building, and good Lord, I'm trying to get home, and you got 2 to 3 of them up there on the range, and next thing an hour later, because you're out there messing with them, but you mess with them because it's comfortable and you want to mess with them.
Yeah.
They make it fun and fresh.
That's exactly right.
I could listen to the two of you go back and forth all day. I wish we had 2 hours to do this, Brandy. Unfortunately, we have to go to break. It's been a real privilege having you on with us today. Your impact on the game from Leonard to Frazier to Scheffler to generations of players and coaches. It speaks for itself. Thanks for sharing your time and insight, and we wish you and the team continued success.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got a hell of a lot of it from Charlie.
Well, I love you, and I appreciate you spending your time with us this morning, and we'll be in touch.
That's the great Randy Smith. Great to hear his insight, Charlie.
Yes.
Ryan, producer Ryan, just for 1 second, would it be best to go to break, or should we finish off here for the last couple of minutes, getting the listeners the latest on the Wyndham Championship? What's your feel there?
Up to y'all. I mean, we have a little bit of time left, so.
All right, let's run down the leaderboard here at the Wyndham Championship. Charlie, I mean, how great was that interview? I mean,
Randy is one of those guys that he can talk, and he knows, he knows where he is in life, and he's had so much success, and he's just a humble guy that spreads the word and understands the golf swing, but more importantly, understands the people. and he's really a great guy.
Charlie, the two guests that we had on today, two coaches that are inside the ropes week to week, just as you were with Angel, and they both said that their influencers were you and the great Dick Harmon. I mean, just real quick, how does that make you feel?
Well, it's a result of the PGA of America putting together programs where we all become a member of association, and then we go to the educational programs that they provide, and we get to know each other, and we help each other, and we laugh with each other, and if anybody's in trouble, we help out, and it's a great business, and I'm proud to be a PGA pro. But that's what brings me and Randy together, and all of my PGA golf professionals from all over the country.
You're the best, Charlie. Unbelievable work. Great stuff today from the two guests. As far as the Wyndham Championship, Cam Young leads the way at the halfway point. He's at 15 under after rounds of 63, 62. There's a three-way tie for second. That's Mac Meisner, Sung J.M., and Joel Dahman at 12 under. The big movers there in that packet at tied for second. Mac Meisner, he started the week at 152, projected at 100. Joel Dahman started the week at 101, projected 77. Those two players probably needing a win to advance. It's going to be a great weekend of golf at Sedgefield. Hope everyone watches and learns something. Charlie, thank you for the great work today. Really enjoyed it. Look forward to talking next Saturday.
As always, I appreciate it, and you be careful, and we'll play some golf here this next week.
Sounds great, Charlie. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Ryan, behind the ones and twos. It's the Charlie Epps Golf Hours by Insperity, HR that makes a difference.